Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. It sounds interesting, right? I mean, it is interesting, but it sounds interesting. Star Wars. You gotta love that. Who doesn't like Star Wars? The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, man. Everybody knows Luke Skywalker. So putting that together makes it seem like, ooh-wee, it's gonna be the best of all of them. Starring Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, and two people that special guest stars showed up in there I wasn't really expecting. One of them I seen in the previews, but the other one, didn't expect the other one. But two special guest stars also. And this is the 9th movie, so this is kind of like Star Wars. You know, volume 9 or issue 9 or show 9 or series 9 or whatever. Something I gotta ask about this movie. How did Rey get so powerful? Rey she's like, holds her arm up and she's like grabbing a spaceship and pulling it back to the earth. And I'm like, wow. I can remember when Luke learned how to make rocks float, but this chick is, she's like dun 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 dun, and she's pulling a spaceship, and I was like, wow, which is incredibly powerful. It's incredibly powerful, but I think the thing that made her OP, overpowered, was Kylo Ren, who had supposedly been training for years before she even knew that she had a midichlorian. She had no powers. But he had been training for years by Smoke. Smoke had been training him. So he's super powerful. They compared him to Vader. He wasn't Vader, but they compared him. So I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. He grabs the same ship and he's trying to pull it towards him. So they're having a tug of war with the ship. And she starts to win. I'm thinking, how is she more powerful? That's not, what? I just didn't get it. She displayed some other abilities that it didn't make sense. She displayed some abilities that I thought only Master Jedi could do. Really, really powerful Master Jedis. And he does something at the end of the movie that I thought you also had to be a Master Jedi. Yoda, Darth Vader, Luke, and Obi-Wan really were the only ones I think that had done it before, and he does it. So I was like, so they're just gonna make them super powered, overpowered Jedi. That's crazy. She shouldn't have been as strong as Kylo Ren. She also shouldn't have been able to fight him with a saber, with a lightsaber. I mean, he's trained. He's been trained and he's been doing it for years. She spent a weekend with Luke Skywalker, trying not to hit a rock. Voop. I didn't hit the rock. Voop. I still didn't hit the rock. And now, and they hint that, or they actually say that Princess Leia continued her training, but Leia didn't really train. I mean, Leia was, running around with a blaster shooting people. Luke was the one that was training. So I'm thinking, who trained Leia to be good enough to train another Jedi to be good enough to grab a spaceship and pull it out of the sky? Who trained her? And if she was a Master Jedi, why wasn't she wearing Master Jedi clothes? She didn't really seem like she was a serious student of the art. So I didn't understand that. She shouldn't have been able to sword fight with Kylo Ren. But then again, I think he was kind of trying not to kill her, so maybe that helped a little bit. They had this thing called the Knights of Ren. And he's Kylo Ren, so maybe they were his servants, his guard, his best men, I don't know. But they were kind of named after him. He's Kylo Ren. And they were the Knights of Ren. So I figured, maybe they were Jedi or Sith that he was training. There's only supposed to be 2 Sith at a time, a master and a servant, but maybe he was training them. So I don't know where it came from. But they didn't do much. They showed and they were like, dun, 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 dun. And I was like, oh, these dudes, they look like they're going to get into something. Not really. Not really. They were just there to look tough, so it made somebody else look even tougher, fighting them. So that was they were in there for fluff, really. I mean, it sounds like the Knights of Ren. Sounds like, an interesting name, and their uniforms and stuff, it made you think, oh, these guys, and they had different weapons. So I'm like, wow, are they like, Star Wars' version of ninja? They looked really tough and scary, but they were not. So that was a waste. The shots of the show, the angles, the territories that they were in, bouncing from different planets, all of that reminded me of the old Star Wars, the first trilogy, the first 3. And it pulled me back, and that was great. But the story wasn't that great. The particular story, I mean, it's Star Wars. They're going to make $1 billion. It's sword fighting. It's the cyber, the lightsabers and stuff, spaceships and everything. It's going to make $1 billion. But if you sit down and you watch it, like, the first 3 are classics. This one I don't think is going to be on the list of the classics. It was good. It was real good. Don't get me wrong. It was real good. But the story seemed like somebody had written a story, and then somebody walked in the office and said, boss, what are we going to do with these ideas? And dumped them on the table, and he's like, stick those in there too. That's what it seemed to me. It seemed like there was a good story with a bunch of other crap just thrown in there, crazy like. So it was good-ish. It was better than a lot of sci-fi movies, but I don't think it was as good as you would expect for the finale of the Star Wars movies. They closed a lot of ends. They said, okay, well, this is because of this and this is this, yada, yada, yada. But they left a lot open. Like, Rey, she was doing things that I don't think she should have been able to do, and they don't explain how she could do it. And I gotta give a little bit away. She creates her own lightsaber, and I'm thinking, who taught you how to do that? You know how to do that? Don't you need one of them little rocks to put in there? Where you get the rock from? It never explained it. Okay. So what had happened was there's a new threat, or maybe an old threat. Hint. There's a new threat that shows up, and Kylo Ren he's just starting to get himself going. He's starting to get, his new empire just about where he wants. There's a threat because someone from an old enemy shows up. So he's like, oh, not today. So he and his evil forces have to fight the new evil forces. But the new evil forces are like, hey man, why don't you just come on this side, baby, just come on this side. Together, we can do this together. He has to decide if that's a good idea or not. But it starts out with him trying to annihilate the new threat. Ren finds out that this new threat is a threat to her as well. So she's like, man. So she wants to annihilate him because she's a good guy. So she wants to annihilate him for that. Kylo wants to annihilate him because it's a threat to his dominance. So they don't want to work together, but they have to. Circumstance puts them in a partnership as opposed to being at odds. But even with that, she doesn't like Kylo, so she's still trying to kill him too. He don't want to kill her because he needs her help to defeat the new threat. So he doesn't want to kill her, but she wants to kill him, and pretty much everybody else, she's just like, Don't nobody know me. She says that. Everybody keeps telling me they know me. Don't nobody know me. She says that, and I'm thinking, maybe we should shoot her on the back of the head or something, because she's tripping. And for some reason, she's like Superman powerful now. So we should probably get rid of her. I would have done that. But, they have faith that she's going to just be good. Faith. So, something else I wanted to know. In the Clone Wars, right, they say that the clone army, the stormtroopers, were created because they were a clone of, I think it was Jango Fett, Boba Fett's pop. And so he was a Mandalorian, right? And I'm watching the TV show Mandalorian. That dude is incredible. So I'm thinking, if you've got an army of those, you seen Boba Fett was the man. You got an army of them, then how come none of them can shoot? Are they, is something wrong with them? Because I think they're defective. Because every time they come out, and they're shooting, they almost always miss. And the heroes are back flipping and diving over boxes and, shooting, covering their face, and they're hitting them, knocking the guns out of their hand, shooting them off of the freaking stairwells and ladders and off of ships. They just blasted them. But the villains can't shoot them. They can't shoot. I'm thinking like it's 40 of y'all. It's 40 of y'all, all of y'all shooting at those two dudes. Those two dudes shot all of y'all. I thought y'all were, essentially Mandalorians. Remember that? Now, it could be because I guess they try to make up for that the lack of stormtroopers forced them to kidnap children and train them as stormtroopers. So maybe these are the really uncoordinated children of other nations and races or whatever. But I don't know if that's true either, because the stormtroopers haven't been able to shoot and kill people since the Clone Wars. So, I don't know, they're just cannon fodder. You just throw 30, 40, 50, 100 of them at a problem and hope it goes away. I don't know. I guess you need an army, whether they're good or not. You just need a bunch of people. So, I don't know. I think that the stormtroopers aren't nearly as scary as they should be. Maybe it's just me, but that's what I think. That they are not as scary as they should be. But I did enjoy the movie. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but it was good. I'm going to give Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, without giving away any spoilers. I might do a spoiler also review, because there's a lot I want to say and I can't without giving stuff away. The Rise of Skywalker. I'm going to give that a soft 7 bags of popcorn. If it wasn't a Disney, Star Wars, sci-fi project, I might have given it a 6. Just because of the story. The story was hard to follow. And then even though you gotta say, well, dude, it's a movie, there were just things that was happening that just didn't make any sense. And I'm like, what? Okay, wait, and you're saying the villain is so powerful that he can do this great and grand feat, right? I'll tell you, he could lift, let's just say, this isn't what happened, but I'm trying to say it without giving it away. He's so strong, he can lift a car above his head with one hand. But the hero shows up without having super strength, and they arm wrestle, and she's stronger than him. I'm like, I just saw him do this incredible, unbelievable feat, which I was like, what? I just saw him do it. And now you just walk up and like, don't mean nothing to me. And now his powers don't work or something. It didn't make any sense. Did not make any sense. And if it did, they didn't explain it to us. So that's why it gets a 7. But it's Star Wars. Wars. It's Disney, and it is sci-fi. I dig all three of those. So it doesn't get a 6, but a 7 for sure. But that's what I think. More importantly, what do you think? Did you see Star Wars? What's your favorite Star Wars? Ooh, what's your favorite Star Wars character? Let's talk about that in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.